Hello, this is Kevin with Bangor Inc. And earlier we did a bid day math challenge that we basically were showing on an estimator might face on bid day of comparing bids and things of that nature. And this is what we had kind of looked at of just looking at very simplistic numbers. And we did come back and said that this would need to be supplemented, some price, things of that nature, where we come back and put a additional $1,500 supplement fee for they missed a widget on it or like they missed some money on something. In this case, I'm going to morph these next few videos into still kind of bid day, but instead of math challenge, I look at this as bid day challenges. So the next thing I want to take a look at is, as we're getting in each of these dollar amounts, there's some clients out there that will actually estimate what they think their cost is going to be associated with these line items. So that way, when they get to bid day, they have at least a ballpark thought of where these values should pop in. It also gives us something to actually compare this bid with something else to, there again, try to see how complete these numbers are in our analysis mode. So that's what I want to take a look at now is I want to create a detailed estimate, bring it over to help me get started on this bid grid again, and then take a look at how that can benefit me when I'm on bid day and the challenges kind of associate with bid day. So in my case, I'm going to go over to my on-premise Sage Estimating. And I'm going to go ahead and create me a new estimate. I'm not going to worry about any of the cover page. I'm just going to get started right into my estimate and so forth. So I'm in a blank spreadsheet. I'm not really in this one really talking a whole bunch about estimating, but I will just kind of show you some methods of creating an estimate and things of that nature to kind of get me started. So I'm in my blank spreadsheet here. I'm going to go to Assembly Takeoff to help me generate some takeoff pretty quick. I'm going to go down and say that I want to do, let's say, some exterior walls here first. So one of the advantages to Assembly is it can take off a group of items at once, extremely consistently, and coming up and quizzing the estimator what components might be needed and things like that to make up a detailed bill of materials and things like that if need be. So I'm going to say I've got a wall that's 300 foot long. Let's say it's 12 foot tall. That's not going to be double frame. Let's say 16 inches on center. I'm going to say it's 6-inch studs since it's an exterior, maybe a little heavier gauge. Let's say I got a few corners or ends. I got a pin row going to concrete and no clips. And I'm only going to do one side of the wall of one. And let's say it's going to be 5/8 material. And that's 4 foot good. And let's say I'm going to go up the full 12 foot. And for my wallboard thickness, I'm going to say 5/8 there. Just regular in this case, 12 foot. Going to go to height to 12 foot and finish a full 12 foot. And then let's say I've got some insulation in it, and we're going to go up the same 12 foot and 6 inches on in it. So basically, these questions were detailed enough that it basically swapped different items down below here. So I might have different products, different strengths, different colors, things of that nature, different products that make up some sort of a different dollar amount and so forth. So at this point, I've got $10,000 estimated within this one wall at the moment. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to say that's good at this point. I'm going to go to my interior wall. Let's say I want to do some interior wall. So we'll just kind of do something similar there. So maybe I've only got a couple 100 foot of interior walls. 3 5/8, 25 gauge. Let's say I've got some doors there. Let's say 20 gauge on them. Corners range, we'll just say 4 again. No extra rounds there. Let's say I'm doing 1/1 for one layer on both sides. Let's do 5/8 again. Regular's fine. Let's say we're going to use 12 foot. Finishing up the full 12 foot. Layers to do is 2. And let's just call that good on that one. So, there I've got some sort of $5,000 associated with the interior walls. Now, one thing I noticed that the assemblies were lacking was painting. So that was something I had in the project that we looked at earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and say close here. And I might just go to a one-time. Oops, not a one-time. I just want to pick something from the database. So I'm just going to say painting. And I want both exterior and interior painting. So as I look through my estimate here's what I've got built out so far. These items are highlighted yellow to catch my attention, that everything else had quantities in dollars and things like that, but these two items were missing some quantities. So exterior walls, I had about 3,600, and let's say that the exterior was going to be 4,800. So there's my estimate. And what we were looking at earlier when we were doing that math comparison is we were really focusing on one bid package. Within that bid package, we're getting different prices from contractors on insulation, framing, gypsum wallboard hanging, gypsum wallboard finishing, and the painting and so forth. So that's basically what I'm going to use for my detail to help me build out kind of some additional supplement items that I can utilize when I'm comparing scope. So I'm going to go ahead and close this estimate down, and I'm going to jump back into my bid metric side here. I'm going to go up to my estimating just to make me back to the front. As I go through, I want to bring over the project that we just created on the on-premise estimating. So I'm going to say I want a new project here. I'm going to go ahead and call this project my bid day challenge. And this one is the item supplement version. And let's say that I've got a location here. Job size. And let's give it some sort of when the bid's coming up. And that'll be enough to get me started on a project here. So now I've got this new project. I'm going to go ahead and go into enter. It's going to ask me what I'm going to use for my estimate to make up my bid package and my bid phases. So in my case, it's the CSI divisions and the bid package phases. So I'm going to go ahead and hit let's go there. So at this point here, I'm in my blank estimate. I want to import the estimate that I've built on the on-premise side so I can get my detail. Now, in my case, I'm going to go to my Sage estimate and bring that over. The same information I'm going to bring over, you could bring over from other products. So it could be from WinEst, or it could be from an Excel spreadsheet. So that means that any estimating system that you have a fair amount of detail that you want to consolidate in some way to compare bids and things of that nature, it could come from anywhere. So as long as you can create an Excel spreadsheet that has some sort of, what do I want for my bid package? What do I want for my bid phases for the checking the scope on and so forth, and some number of line items, it can be brought in from anywhere through an Excel type of thing. So in my case, I'm going to say Sage Estimate. This is going to go find my on-premise estimating. And I'm going to say I'm looking for that one that we just did a moment ago, which was my bid day challenge item supplement. So this is going to go ahead and bring over all the detail lines and so forth into this particular bid. So in this case here, I'll see my base bid. I'll see I've got a bid package set up. I've got the same things set up. And this time, where I started the one manually or on the first, just the math challenge, this one's already got budgets in here because it brought that over from my estimating. So if I go ahead and go back to my bid metrics, we put in bids and started comparing bids and things like that. And all that's going to stay the same. So I'm going to just put any bidder in here. So I'm just going to say bills. I think it was one of them. So I'm going to say bills complete. So as I enter in any dollar amounts, right here, it's going to tell me what my budget was as far as what I had in my estimate. So in my case, I'm going to go back and let's say that this one was $4,000 for some reason. So right now, it's going to use that low combination. And in our bid challenge, all we basically did is all the numbers are comparable, and so that way we just had to find the low solution. But realistically, when you're looking at bids, you're also looking at numbers in relationship to each other, and is that bid really complete? Is that scope really cover everything I need to for that section? So because I brought this detail over from an estimate this time, if I open this up, I can see the initial bid that we saw earlier. I can see the additional supplements where we went in last time and added some money for a widget that a contractor had missed. But this time I'm going to look at this item supplement, and this will show me all the line items in my estimate and what dollar amount I had on my estimate. So if for some reason I'm looking at this bid and maybe checking with them or looking at the completeness, and maybe for some reason I found out that they did not provide the exterior sheathing. So maybe they did not include the hanging for it, nor the materials for it. So basically now what that's done is it's went ahead and added another $1,700 to the original $4,000 bid to get it a little bit more comparable with the rest of them. Maybe as I'm looking through there, matter of fact, I think I did, let's say they didn't include this one, and that they did include the So as I go through there, I could pick different combinations from my estimate. So on each one of these different sections, you can actually see whatever detail lines you might have in your estimate to help supplement if they had missed something. So very, very powerful with there again, one of the challenges of bid day and the true bid day challenge type of thing is this number complete? Is this number accurate? So there again, I had to start off with the $4,000 bid. I was able to take line items from my estimate and say either plus or minus. So plus would just say it's included and not need to add any money. But maybe if I sat there and hit another minus or something of that nature, would be another set of dollars that would say they didn't include. Now, as I'm looking at supplementing all this, just like what we saw earlier too, was we put on a manual supplement. And down here at the bottom, we could tell how much dollars we've supplemented. So in this case, we've supplemented about 50% or 41.8% of that bid was supplement. So that's a pretty big portion of the bid to be that they've missed and so forth. So there again, that might even start tripping up the red flags that I may just want to exclude it until I get some more bids in here to see, even with my supplement, maybe I don't feel good about that number and so forth. So very powerful for doing the analysis of it. Now, as I'm looking at this number, this is also where I can do clarifiers. So let's say, for example, there again, this is what I had in my detailed estimate, but maybe when people are getting bids in from people, maybe I've got some sort of a clarification page that do they have this? Do they include this? Do they include this? And things of that nature. So you can actually create a clarification page also. Now, this could be imported. So if I have some master one that I have in a text file or a Word document or something of that nature, I could bring it in. I'm just going to go ahead and include a few of them here. So I'm going to say, did they include cleanup? Did they include insurance? Did they include, maybe for some reason, some of them need a permit? Whatever the case may be. And there again, for this particular bidder, I could come down through there and say, yep. Maybe they've included all that scope. Or maybe I could come back and say, well, no, looking at that, I didn't see where they included cleanup. So maybe I'm going to go back and put a minus or a red in there that they did not include it. And I might even come back and say, I'm going to add some more dollars to it because of that. So right now we're talking about they were just dealing with the gypsum wall hang. So I'm going to go back to that section here where I can see here's the money I've got in for them so far. And I might say that I'm going to add another $500 to their bid for having to come back after them and clean some things up or something. So now you kind of start to see their initial bid was this. Some line items out of my estimate that I had to add to make it more comparable was another $2,800. After my clarifications, I had to go back and update it another $500 for something they did missed and so forth. So bid day starts to get more kind of challenging because it's not like I could just enter the numbers and let the system use every system or every number that I just get, that it's taking the numbers and being able to analyze them to figure out, are they complete? Do they include all the scope? Do I need to add anything else to it to make it comparable with the rest of the bidders and things like that to make sure that we've got all the bases covered to the scope? That was the main thing for this challenge of a bid day challenge, was just more be able to use detailed line items to help me supplement my bids. So that way I can make their bids more comparable off of a detailed estimate, and then also use the clarifications to help clear it up. Thanks for watching.